People got up, the man making the video, he got up very early this morning to come and do this and set up and like that. What was his intention? Why did he come and do that? For what reason did he come and do that? Nobody knows. You don't know what is in the heart of Khalil. I don't know what's in the heart of... Only Khalil knows what's in his heart. Why he came here, or why anybody came here, or why anybody does what they do. But Allah knows everything about us, because He sees everything. Huwa ma'akum aynama kuntum. Allah is with us wherever we are. But this has to be developed inside the human being, this understanding that Allah is witness to everything that we do. Allah is with us every moment of the day, that there's no way, or day and night, that there's no way of escaping from Allah, there's no way to get away from Allah, there's no way to run from Allah, there's no way to escape from Allah. Allah knows. But our job to refine and to purify and to clean and to be aware of why are we doing what we are doing, the conscious life, we might call it the conscious life. So we may speak in this term of 3 stages of sincerity about this thing. We can speak of the sincerity that is a sincerity, or we say like this, the capital of this path, the wealth of this path is nothing more than sincerity. Meaning what? Showing yourself as you really are, and being inwardly what you show yourself to be. Showing yourself as you really are, whatever anybody sees, that's who you really are. And being inwardly what you show yourself to be. If I show myself to be this person, I must be inwardly this person that you're seeing. And that what I am and what I show myself to be is what I am. And so we speak here of 3 stages of the sincerity. Sincerity with oneself, how it is. Sincerity with the Prophet, alayhi-s-salaam, and with his living legatees. And by that I mean the awliya, karam, and the shaykh. And finally, the sincerity with Allah. These are 3 stages of the thing. That means good deeds, al-amal salih, if they're separated from sincerity, will never have any spiritual value in the sight of Allah. You help the woman across the street, you're a good Boy Scout. But you did it so that people say, oh, he's a good Boy Scout. So you helped the woman across the street, she benefited from it, but you didn't benefit at all from it. Because you were only concerned with what people saw about what you were doing. So when we look back into the history of Islam, we see that the Sahaba, radiallahu ta'ala anhum, were able to achieve these acts because they're inward and they're outward, and the people, the great people that we know throughout the history of Islam. Why? Because their inward and their outward conduct was harmonious with their inner intentions. And Allah gave His blessings on those people, He gave His help to those people because they lived a life of pure sincerity. So we too can qualify for this assistance from Allah if we model our life on this kind of sincerity and the sincerity of the Sahaba and their successors, the awliya, karam, and the pious ulama and the enlightened shaykh and awliya of Allah. In the present situation of the Ummah, it is clear that our way of life, our family, our belief system, our lands, everything, our whole thing that we have is under attack. Everywhere. And I don't mean, Bismillah, only attacked by weapons, but all kinds of means that divert us and take us away from this way of thinking to another way of thinking, to another way of looking at things, another way of, who is the person who is respected, who is the person who is listened to, who is that. This is for the most part, by what the dunya says of the person. Oh, this is a person that we should respect. Oh, this is a person who's worthy to look up to. Or this is a person that, and the other people, we don't see these people. They have no value in the society as a whole. This way of life has almost the cynicism that pervades the modern world is almost all inclusive. You're a fool if you work for Allah. You're a fool if you work out of this form of sincerity. go get what you can get. That's the idea of the situation. So we find when we look at the early Muslims that they were leaders in this because of this thing like that. And then when you say today, how is it that now we're 1 billion people, we're all all over the world, we're the presidents of country, we're the generals of armies, we're the members of parliament, we're the heads of the court, in many from Nigeria to Indonesia, all across it. This is all run by Muslims, and we don't see hardly result of it. And everywhere we find ourselves on the downside, on the down end of the things. Why? And it's exactly, this whole thing comes back down to what? Al-amal bi-niyyah. Our action is by what we intend for it. And coupled with that, also with what Allah said regarding the Prophet alayhi-s-salaam, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We did not send you save as a mercy to all people. This is forgotten by the Muslim people. More Muslim people are killed, they just find, in Afghanistan by Muslim people than by the Kafirs. What? How is this? Why is this? How does this happen? And so during these times of intense personal and community thing, and when we look back at these times, how did this whole thing spread? It went from Arabia to Africa to Andalusia to the Balkans to Central Asia to Turkey to the subcontinent to Mongolia to China to Indonesia to the Philippines. And what happened in all these people? And they were all working together, Arabs and Turks and Indians and Moguls and Byzantines and Persians and Malays and Indonesians and all this. And we could see, and when we look at it, we see that this Islam that they knock and everything like that is in truth a very cosmopolitan, tolerant and universal. But how did this happen? This happened because how did they get the victory after victory? When did they get the Nasr? How did this happen? It all had to do with what? Because they were conscious of what they were doing. They were aware of what they were doing. They knew that their actions depended upon their intention. And that they developed that. And that this was what was developed in all people. This is what was taught to all people. And how many of our children who go to school, our children who go to university, where did they teach that in the university? Where did they teach that in the high school? Where did they teach that in the grade school? Where did they teach that in the kindergarten? Nowhere. Even in the masajid, they tell you, Al-amal bi-niyyah, that's it, bas. You heard the lesson, that's it. But nobody emphasized on it, nobody pushed on it, nobody tried to explain to the children, look kids, what is going to come for you is dependent upon how you intend to do what you are doing, how you put together thinking and destiny. That your destiny is related to your thinking, that what comes is a direct relation to the awareness that you put into what you're doing, to the consciousness that you have, to the sincerity that you have, of what you're going to do. Why am I going to do this? They don't teaching this. This is a lost lesson, or just passed over in gloss. We talk about this, we talk about that, we talk about the other thing. But here, this is the very essence of what happens. The Prophet ﷺ said that pure sincerity is a secret, and the Hadith Qudsi is a secret from my secrets that I've deposited in the heart of my slave. This is how valuable it is that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in the hearts of those people this sincerity. And our Shaykh, Ibrahim Batawi, Dr. Batawi, may Allah be pleased with him and give him mercy, the only thing that he looked at in his students was their sincerity. The only thing that he would say, that he's an honest one. This one, when the word he used honest, he means mukhlas. This one's mukhlas. Regardless of what the level of the person's intellectual capabilities or worldly capabilities or whatever it was that he looked at, what he looking for? Honesty. Looking for what? Sincerity. Looking for purity of intention. This is what makes somebody worthwhile. This is the person who will be victorious. This is the person who will receive openings. This is the person who will attain to the truth. This is the person who will attain to Allah's reward. The person who is sincere in what they're doing and is pure in their sincerity, and who looks at their action and takes everything that they do and looks at what they're doing. This is what they say, Nazar Bar Qadam in Naqshbandiya, they tell you, look where your feet are going. Where are you going? And then Allah says in the Quran to the Muslims, Aina tadhabun ya Muslimun, where are you going? What are you doing? What are you up to? And if you don't know, and if you can't answer, if he can't answer, why was I in the car? If Khalil can't answer, why did I come? If I can't answer, why am I sitting here? If you can't answer why you're sitting here, then you don't know. You're unconscious. You didn't know why you came here. You didn't understand the reason for this. You don't know the purpose for this. You just went because, well, that's what's happening. That's what's going on. This is what's doing. He called, I went, this happened, that came. Unconsciousness. And everywhere we look in the world, we see the results of people's unconsciousness. And it's not pretty. Not at all pretty, the results of it. So this point of developing this cannot be. We can talk about this and we can talk about that and we can talk about that, but at the very, very center of it is what do I intend to do? What is my intention in doing what am I doing? And not only that, how pure am I? Am I doing this for myself? To make money? Do people think I'm a great person? To get my name someplace, or to say people to talk about me, or like, is that for what reason I'm doing this? Why am I doing this? What is the purpose for it? What is the purpose of my life? He says, my living and my dying and everything are for Allah. If you're living and you're dying and everything for Allah, you will be rewarded. If they're not, you have nothing. Bubkis, as the Jews say. Nothing. Your reward will be nothing. You'll go to the bank and you say, can I have my account? Sorry, there's nothing in your account. And you will have spent life doing things. You would have driven the car, you would have shown up, you would have done that, you would have done this, but you didn't do it for the right intention, so you got nothing for it. Nothing to show. Yet you did all of the work. These are the mukhlaseen. These people who do this, who consider these things, are the mukhlaseen. Sidi Abu Hassan Ashadali, Qaddasallahu Sirruhu, talked about that. And he said, these are the people, these are the people who consider what they're doing, why they're doing it, for what purpose are they doing it. They are trying to purify everything they're doing so that they're doing it only for Allah. Fi sabilillah. I have a friend who laughs. He says, whenever I hear somebody saying when they do Fi sabilillah, I know that they're out to rip me off. That's how it's become. That's what's happened. People, that's what I mean by cynicism. Is exactly what I mean by cynicism. That's how the up has gone down and the down has gone up. You know, the world is turned upside down. That the most pure thing to work for Allah is regarded in cynical things that of shoddy work, of shoddy, everything like that. Why? Because people not working for the right thing. He said, who are these people? He said, the people of the mukhlaseen. He said, these are the people who Allah has created. Allah created them for His pure worship, and He purified them for faithfulness to His divine unity, Tawheed Rububiyyah, and to the following of His divinely revealed way. He created them for this. There are people among us who are created for this. He placed in these people who purify their actions, their intentions, these people who seek to be sincere in what they're doing, who only try to work truly for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for the pleasure of being seen, not for the pleasure of being known, not for the pleasure of money, not for the pleasure of power, not for the pleasure of fame or glory or anything, but for Allah.